Bobby here. I just put out a video short for the solo Beat It by Michael Jackson, Eddie Van Halen. I wanted to do a video because I got a request if I could do a solo breakdown, and I'll put some tabs and kind of talk about the song real quick. But before we get started, if you could click and subscribe and smash the like button, I'd appreciate it. Well, when we talk about the song Beat It, you think about this, it's a good song, great album, Thriller. The solo Beat It is just amazing, and I think I was listening to that song and that solo many years even before I started playing guitar, probably when I was like 9 years old or 10 years old when it came out, because I think I started playing like when I was like 12 or 13. And it's such a recognizable solo, and it really, like to say, a lot of rockers to listen to that song, because Michael Jackson was kind of considered pop, and Michael Jackson was always big. But the history behind the song, and I think everybody knows that Quincy Jones called Eddie Van Halen to come in and do a solo. But the guitarist, I think, that was working on a lot of the album was Steve Lukather from Toto, and has worked with everybody. Just an amazing player. And I think he was friends with Eddie Van Halen, so Eddie came in. And the funny thing, when you really think about this solo, Eddie went in and did, I think, 2 takes. And I think he just did 2 takes, not that the first one was bad. But here's 2 versions. You guys pick whatever one you want to put in. And I think originally he was supposed to solo over a certain verse or a certain part of the song, but Eddie said, no, I'd rather solo over this. So they had to kind of change the song around to kind of fit the solo Eddie put in. It's an incredible solo. But the funny thing, I was talking about this with one of my friends, that, you know, you'll see a lot of Van Halen shows, or you can, especially with YouTube now, you can see any show you want from the past. And Eddie will sometimes do a little bit of the solo and a little improvising. And I can imagine when you're playing live, you're excited, you just take the solo to a different area sometimes. And I wonder, Eddie Van Halen played the solo in the album, and I don't think he ever really played it again, except there is this one video that Eddie Van Halen joined Michael Jackson on stage for the Jackson Victory Tour, and they were trading licks back and forth, him and Tito, and Eddie really didn't do the solo exactly. He was doing a lot of different parts from it. I think a lot of like and a lot of tremolo picking with a lot of that stuff. It's a grainy video, but it's cool to watch. And I wonder if, for some reason, say in the Sammy years, if Eddie decided to do this, or Sammy decided to sing the song and Eddie was going to play it, I wonder if he would have stuck to doing the solo exactly the same. I was reading somewhere that Eddie got to meet Jennifer Batten, and she was Michael Jackson's guitarist on tour for many, many years. And one of the things that she could actually do the solo note for note. And I think Eddie sat her down and said, oh, let me hear it. And I guess she nailed it. It was one of those stories in one of the guitar magazines, because there's so many stories about the song Beat It. But enough about the stories. Let me just get to it. You know, there's a lot going on. He's playing real fast. It's just such a great solo. And even when I do it, and there's a million guys out there who have lesson videos, and guys who can do it note for note, even get the perfect guitar sound, or even knock on the guitar right before the solo. There's so many great players out there, and I'm just doing this because a guy, one of my subscribers, asked if I could just put a video out, and I was like, sure, why not? And if whatever I'm doing, if it helps somebody out when they're trying to learn it, that's great too. I guess the first thing we'll start off with is, before they get to the solo, I don't know if you want to call that the bridge, but there's a part where, you know, and all I'm doing is I'm just hitting the low E and the E on the 7th fret. So if you watch the video, that's pretty easy, but just in case, letting you know. And now the other part is when they go into the I was looking at one of the tabs, it had it playing like this. And technically they are the right chords and the right notes, but for some reason when I'm playing it over here, it just sounds a little bit better. So it's really, when you think about it, you're just playing a G. And I think that part was already laid down. And so then Eddie comes, I think he just punches in, and you have your bar all the way down, and then you're going to hit the A note on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and you're just going to go right up. So let's do it. And you can kind of hear the strings fluttering a bit if you really listen to it in the song. And just like here. And then once that's up, you're just going to slide to the 7th fret. So once you're on the 7th fret, you're going to tap the 12th fret harmonic. And from the 7th, slide up to the 9th fret. So. When you're doing that, you know, sometimes you hit the harmonic, sometimes it'll be nice and chimey, if that's the best way to put it, or like a bell sound. So you just got to practice that a lot. You know, I think when I did my video, I probably did probably 2 or maybe 3 takes where I have everything was perfect on that, and maybe I was off on one little thing, or I was off on this. And whenever I put something out, I want to try to be, if the solo is 100%, like the original solo, I at least try to be 95% close. Sometimes I don't even think really the original artist can ever get back to the 100, but I try to be as close as possible. And granted, there's some guys out there who can do it at 105. So let me just try this again. We'll go to the next part. So next part. So you're just tapping on the 15th fret and you're pulling off. Move it to the 2nd fret. And then you're just going to kind of do with your left hand. I'll have the tab for it, but once you do that one last tap, you kind of just work with the momentum that, you know, just when you're playing, I guess is probably the best way to play it. So do it one more time. Now, to me, this is the hardest part of the song, just because he does a big stretch, and you know you want to have your guitar kind of close. It's one of those things that like I can either play it really slow or play it really fast. If I play it in the middle, it just sounds messy. But when you got the distortion on and you kind of get the right speed, it can sound great. So I'll play the part from the video, and then I'll do it here slow. So I'll do a little back and forth if that helps. So it's a big stretch. You're going from on the second, you're on the second string, and you're hitting the B, and then you're going to hammer to 15 and hammer to 19, and then you're going to hit the E, the high E. And when you're doing it, you want to have your 2 fingers down on the 1st and 2nd fret as kind of like an anchor. and then you're just going to pull off on the 19th. And then you're going to go to the 19th fret on the B string. And then you're going to go back to the E strings. So what I would do is I would just sit here, and to me that's just the hardest part of the song, you can hit the notes right, but you just want to be in that right rhythm, and you just got to keep working at it and just work on that stretch. And you'll get used to it. At first it'll be a little hard just because you're doing such a big stretch, you're hammering, and then you're pulling. So. And then you're going to go in after you kind of do that little section of that, then you're going to, after you hit that high E that last time, you're going to pull 19, 15 to 12 on the B string. $19, 15, 12, and then you're going to hit the high E. And now you're going to hammer the 19th fret on the 3rd string. So the hardest part now, along with that first, 8 notes or whatever it is the So just keep working on that. And so when you do the last one, I guess if you want to pull it, when you pull it off. When you hit that last note, then you're going to rake up on the E and B string, bending to the 14th fret, and then pulling off to the 12. So after you've done that, hammering and pulling, you're going to rake up on the E string and the B string. So, and you're going to do it fast. And then you're going to bend right to the 14th fret on the G string and pull off to the 12th fret. And then you're going to bend to the 15th. So you're going to go up and down, and then I pull, and then you're going to hammer. And you're just going to tap onto the 17th fret twice and slide. And then you're going to go back and bend the G string, 14th fret, pull off to 12, pull off to open string, and then drop the bar. So. And then you're just going to drop the bar. So we'll do it one more time. And when you do that, you're going to hammer. You're going to hammer with this hand on the 14th fret. And it probably doesn't sound as great right now. Once you get it up to speed, it'll sound better. Even when I'm playing up to speed, it's not perfect, but to me, it's close enough. And you want to make sure when you're doing those bends on the G string, you want to do them pretty hard. So I'm just going to do that rake, the slide, and then we're going to go to the next section. And so now, once you've kind of dropped the bar from that last part with that, and so now there's going to be a lot of bar work as we move forward. So, like I said, when the bar was kind of down, you're going to hit it, and you don't want to get a squeal, but kind of close to a squeal with bending and pushing up at the same time. So. And once you get that up, you're going to go back down and then you're just going to pull off. You're going to hammer and pull off. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you just work with your bar and you keep listening to it, you'll feel it. And now you're going to go up to the 3rd fret, and now you're going to do a little bit of a bar work here, and I'll have the tab for it, but it'll kind of go like this. So you're kind of depressing, and then you're going to kind of hammer and pull. So this part right here, I mean, it's essentially the same notes, but except now he's pulling to the open string on the 2nd string. And you're just doing a lot of bar work. So just fool around with it. The tab is there. And if anybody wants a tab, I can email it to you. So when you gotta get out of that last part of you're gonna bend with like a pinch harmonic on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Just keep working with it. You'll hear it. It's not a real deep pinch, but it's a little bit of a squeal. Now you're going to slide up in the 3rd string to the 13th fret, and then you're going to hit the E on the 1st string. And when you do that bend on the 15th, 2nd fret, you want to bend it kind of full. Like the same part before, it's really just a blues lick. He's playing it fast. And when you do that kind of raking part, you're just doing it real fast. Like if you listen to this song, you hear it, but you don't hear it because he's just doing it. You don't really hear the notes, but you know what he's doing. Okay, now the next part, just pretty simple tapping stuff. And what you want to do is just make sure that you're doing it, probably the best way is and just maybe work with that in metronome so you can get it, you want to kind of like synchronized almost, because you don't want to go so fast and even though it does sound like a fluttering in notes, you just want to kind of get it the way he's doing it. And then you'll slide up to the 10th, and then you just tap on the 17th. And now we're almost there. You're just going to bend the 15th fret, 2nd string while hitting the E on the 1st string. And now you're going to tremolo pick from 14, 15, 17, 19, but you're not going to go to, you're going to go right to the 22nd fret. So you want to hold that bend and just keep hitting it. And one thing I noticed when I was first kind of like looking at what other people had done and listening to the song, when I first started working on this, I thought he was tremolo picking on the E. But after he does the bend, he starts the tremolo picking on the 14th fret. And now I kind of use heavy picks. So when I do the scrape, because once you hit that last note, and you're kind of bending, he does a big scrape there. And I'm not sure if he used thin picks. Mine are kind of heavy. So sometimes if you're not doing it right, you won't get the great scrape sound that you need. But just, again, just kind of fool around with it. And scraping is probably the easiest thing that you can do on a guitar. And then you're just going to go right up to the riff. So I hope this was helpful. If anybody wants the tab itself, just email me and I can email you a copy. Hope the video was helpful in some way. Also, I forgot to even mention at the beginning, this is my Frankie EVH. I've had this for a while. When they first came out, I got the first run. The original first runs, the necks were a little bit darker than the ones they have now. This is a comfortable neck. I've done so many videos with this. Just a great guitar. And what's great about, actually, I put a 1971 quarter when my friend Arthur was going through all the changes at his restaurant, and I said, if you find one, can you put it aside? So we actually got one for me, and he held one for another buddy of mine. So adds to kind of make it a little more relict. But this is a great guitar. It's just so comfortable. And what I love about seeing now is that Paul Gilbert has one, Joe Satriani, every major star has one. And the cool thing is that, I don't know, thinking like when I was younger, if you had a striped guitar like this, you're Eddie Van Halen wannabe or something like that. But now it's just cool to have, which I always thought it was cool. But thank you for watching. I'll put the video short link down below if you just want to watch that. And thank you to everybody who did watch that, because I've got like over 3,000 views, which is amazing. So thank you. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you soon.